All right, let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. Welcome to the Matt Kim podcast. I have the craziest, most awesome guest I think I've ever had. And I'm so excited. Like, I can't even explain. I can't articulate properly how excited I am to have Lilly, the Lilly, on the show today. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you. That is quite the intro.
I mean,
Yeah.
You went like super viral. Like, there's like kind of viral, and there's like a little bit more than viral, and you went super viral.
Yep. Overnight, like it was within like 1 week, everything went crazy.
Well, first, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. At first, it was a little bit overwhelming, but then you get to where you kind of like it. So now it's kind of fun being infamous.
Infamous. And infamous is the right word.
Yes.
The left wants to cancel you. The right wants to cancel you. Mm-hmm. Somehow you found yourself in this crazy situation of fighting a war on all fronts. And we'll get into all of that later. But welcome to the show, Lilly. Little clap. Little clap. Okay, I want to start at the beginning. Because at least I feel like there's a lot of people like, hey, she just keeps on popping up my feed. I don't know where she came from. I heard she's a psyop. I heard she's a Mossad agent. We hear all these things. Mm-hmm. Where'd you come from? Who are you?
So Mossad approached me. No, I had always made like typical like college girl content, on TikTok and stuff. I'd always had social media and whatever, but it wasn't till about 3 weeks ago that I started posting content more consistently. Like I'd never been consistent with anything, but I was like, you know what? I have a little following. I think I had about 30,000 followers. And I was like, I'm just going to post consistent content and just reach out and try to red pill or whatever you want to call it, just the little followers that I have. So those started like doing pretty well, and I was like, oh wow, okay, we'll pursue this vein, and then I posted the infamous video. It got a normal amount of views and stuff. Like nobody was mad. It was just all positive. Like, oh yeah, because they were talking about what the video was actually about. It was not a racist video, obviously.
No, and we'll get into the video.
Yeah.
We just gotta let the time limit on the intro kind of go out before we do it. Otherwise, they'll take this off the internet.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get back to that video in like 5 minutes.
Okay. So I post that one, and then I post another one that really triggered people. And then the mob came after me. So then now they have to dig through my videos. So we got to find some dirt on this girl. They came to the infamous one, and they struck gold.
Really?
Yeah. They found an N-word.
Yeah. Wait. I thought that video was like the first video.
No, that one I had posted about a week ago before or something like, I can't remember exactly, but it was a different one that triggered a lot of people. It triggered the anime crowd. And you don't want to be on the bad side of that crowd.
Because you call them nerds.
Yes, because they are. They are.
So that triggered them to go back and then find the N-word video.
Yes.
And that went super viral.
That one blew up, and then Black Twitter picked it up, and then woke white people who are trying to make up for the sins of the past.
Yeah.
They picked up on that, and they really led the charge.
So what were your videos like before kind of the super virality of what were you talking about?
Well, when I was just making like consistent content, it was just basically talking about things that pissed me off. That's why I've kind of made a brand of being the rant girl that's always mad. Because I just would, like, I'd be driving through traffic or whatever, and something would piss me off, and I was like, I can't be the only one that's feeling this. So I would just post like little short 1-minute rants, and people seemed to resonate with that, apparently.
And you can't find them anymore because your TikTok is banned.
Yeah, well, there's tons of TikToks now that are like fake accounts of me with like fake GoFundMes and all that. So if you're out there, I'm not raising money for myself. So please do not fall for it. Yeah. But no, they've wiped me pretty much from the internet.
And how fast did that happen from your virality to them deleting you on TikTok?
So when the infamous video came out, it was up for a long time, and it ended up getting deleted a little bit after I'd put out the fake apology video. So I was surprised how long it stayed up, to be honest, with all the mass reporting and whatever. But I guess finally TikTok caved and deleted it. And then they deleted my account shortly after that.
Did they give you warnings, or they just...
Well, on that one, I did get a warning. And I had never seen like the warning up on the bio section. So it was just axed.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got deleted from TikTok. I got banned, I think 2 months ago. Out of nowhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
like
just banned me.
Okay.
Yeah, they just, I clicked in one day and my account was gone. And somehow someone watching was like, hey, they just banned Matt. And apparently they're sitting up somewhere high in the food chain because they got it back from me.
No way, really?
Yeah, I got a call and they're like, hey, did you really get banned? I'm like, yeah, what'd you say? I'm like, I didn't say anything. And like, okay, we'll take care of it.
There you go.
And 24 hours later, I have my account back. But
pays to be connected.
Well, now I can't get a video past like 10,000 views.
Oh, okay.
So I'm allowed to have an account. I'm just not allowed to talk to anybody. Right. You know, which may be worse.
Yeah.
You know?
It is worse, honestly.
I think shadow banning is the worst. Mm-hmm. Because it like gaslights people. They're like, wait, am I bad? Do people not care about what I'm saying? Is my idea bad? Like, is it not resonating? And you start spinning in circles because you think maybe it's me, but it's not you, it's them. And they're like saying, no, you're not. And I do truly believe that there's an actual list of people. And they say, okay, this person, not allowed. This person, not allowed. And what I've noticed is that if you say exactly what the right says, if there's Fox News talking points and you say only those things, you actually never get in trouble. If you are on the left and you say just the left-wing talking points, you have no problems. If you encourage people to get out of those pre-established lanes and you encourage people to think for themselves, or you wake people up and convince people to switch lanes, they really don't like that.
Well, and another thing I found, this was a pattern that I just started noticing, is if you look at TikTok, some of these like conspiracy channels or whatever, they might not be run, the people talking are not the most like appealing or whatever. They're like stereotypically like, you know, you name it. They're not exactly bringing a lot of people into the fold. And then you'll see, so they leave that content up, but then you'll see somebody like you who's actually, you know, charming and bringing people into the fold because you're not weird. You're like a normal dude, and people like trust you and they listen to that. And I think these establishment or whatever, whoever runs these companies, they know the people who actually attract people and they have to silence them. But something, you know, if you just seem like a joke or whatever, they'll let your video stay up. So it really says more about you than it does even about them, you know?
Well, thank you, but don't feel better about that at all.
Okay, sorry. I was trying
that
my best.
That actually makes it worse. Great. If you're an anime nerd, you can say whatever you want. They don't care.
It's true. If you're a loser, you will have all your platforms, and that's just a fact. If you're a winner, you will be stripped from the internet.
Can we play the video? Can we find the video? Well, maybe we just find it in the background. Somehow figure out where to find it from. Because it's not actually that easy to find anymore.
Oh, really? I haven't tried to look it up. I'm sure it's been like scrubbed or whatever.
I was telling my wife last night, I gotta go in tomorrow and I'm gonna record with Lilly, and she went super viral and she's like, I want to see the video. What is it? And I showed it to her. She's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And we're like, she said the word. She's like, where? I'm like, no, she said it and she's not allowed to say it. And she's like, I don't understand.
Me neither. I didn't even realize that had slipped out until everybody started commenting. I was like, dang, did I say that? You know?
it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like over the top. I don't think it was. And if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't like get caught up on it.
Again, it just goes to show it wasn't about like the actual thing. It's about trying to get me on something. And these days, although I think that's kind of waning, but these days, if you can label someone racist or whatever, it's over. Now, I do see that that's coming to an end because it's a joke. Like, who cares anymore?
Yeah, you're such a racist. You're a misogynist. You're a sexist. You're a somethingist. You're a somethingist. A million isms that you can blame on people. And people kind of over it. don't
Well,
really care
they've
as much.
overplayed their card. Like, it doesn't mean anything anymore. In fact, it's almost like a badge of honor. Like,
Yeah.
I've got all my little badges here.
I'm still waiting for the New York Times to do a hit piece on me because I'm going to frame it. I'm going to put it on the wall. I've been waiting. I remember the BBC like started DMing me one day. And I think I made a video about Maui and the direct energy weapons.
Yeah.
And the video was, why am I searching direct energy weapon in Maui? And the first thing that shows up is fact check. It's
Right.
not a direct energy weapon. I'm like, I just watched a press conference of you guys saying you don't know what caused the fire, but somehow you don't know what caused it, but you know for sure that it wasn't a weapon. And I made this video talking about that. And the BB's like, well, do you have proof? You know, like, how can you say that?
Yeah.
How can you say that? And that video went like viral. So like, you can't say that. How can you say that? And I was like, oh, I hope they make a hit piece on me. That'd be
Yeah.
so awesome. And it never happened. I was really disappointed.
Yeah. I know. It's like you feel like you're in with the greats, you know? I was so happy when I got a hit piece from the Daily Beast and Salon. I was like, yes, I've made it. Thank you, guys.
There's a Daily Beast. I know that Daily Wire went after you. I didn't know Daily Beast did.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Are they different?
I Googled my name the other day because I was like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it was like Daily Beast, Salon, The Cut, like all these horrible, like left-wing,
Yeah.
extremely biased garbage publications. But
I need a Daily Beast article. I'm really upset because I was trying to apply for the TikTok verification.
okay, yeah.
And they're like, you got to submit all this media. So I had all this media. A podcaster, Matt Kim, gets kicked out of Ron DeSantis event. All this random stuff. When we interviewed Andrew Tate, we talked about Mr. Beast and his sidekick, Chris, being trans and how that's weird.
Yeah.
And there was articles about that. And that's why I submitted to TikTok.
Oh, I'm sure they were thrilled with that. Good resume.
I didn't know what else to submit. I was like, this is all I have.
Yeah.
There's all this stuff of people trying to like cancel me on these really small outlets. And TikTok's like, doesn't apply. And denied.
So it
yeah,
didn't.
they denied me.
Okay, makes sense.
They denied me.
Makes sense.
I found someone who reposted it.
Okay.
Everybody I know who's married right now, they're married to broke-ass niggas.
That's
It's true.
why can't
But I wasn't even talking about black people. Like everybody I know is not married to a black person. So
and amongst most communities within like urban areas, they say the word nigga all the time. But for some reason, you say it in like this and they target it. And once you clip it like that, actually, even if you clip it like that, it's not that bad.
no.
It actually doesn't bother me one bit, but I'm not black. Maybe that's why. Maybe if I'm black, it would bother me. I feel like most black people don't care.
Yeah. In fact, actually, it's mostly been, like I said, the white, like liberals, of course,
Yeah.
that are always behind because they love to hate on their own race. Right. So, yeah, I've actually had a lot of black people DM me and they're like, we don't care. We don't care.
they
You
just
can
want
say
you to
that
know.
to me any day. Yeah, it's a whole subsect of black culture that's very strange. I didn't realize existed.
I think a lot of people are just so sick of cancel culture.
Yeah.
And when they see someone canceled for something that's kind of ridiculous, people are like, dude, like, I just don't want to be associated with the group that's canceling.
Right.
There's nothing more beta than being the canceled guy, cancel
Yeah.
person.
You're a tattletale. Like, who likes that person?
Yeah.
They're the ones that go and telling you in class, go tell teacher, go blab on you. Like, who likes that? What happened to snitches get stitches?
Apparently, snitches do very well in life.
Yeah, they do.
Because that's all we're left with now.
I know. It's too bad.
So, what are you doing now? What's kind of the plan, and what are you trying to do? What would you like to do now that you've hit this viral moment, and it doesn't last forever? So you have to be thinking future.
Right.
What do you want? What if you could snap your fingers and say, "This is what I'm doing," and it just happened? What would that be?
Probably definitely something where I can like do my own thing. Like again, I like being independent. That's nice, you know, because then you're not having to trumpet somebody else's agenda or whatever. Because I started in on this whole thing like these are my opinions, and if you agree with it, if you resonate with it, if I find like a base of people that also agree, then that's awesome. But you know, it kind of all like got thrown all of a sudden on me really quickly. So I'm still just trying to figure out, what I'm going to do. But it's one of those things, like when you have opportunities present themselves in life, and this doesn't happen that often. Sometimes it never happens. And you have to just kind of make the best of that opportunity and be like, okay, well, did God want me here? Was this meant to be? Was it Mossad? Does somebody else want me here? But I'm just trying to figure out, what's the best route. And since I've been thrown in this course, we're gonna, just have to blaze a trail this way. So I'm still in the figuring out what to do phase.
And that's what we think about. We talk about it all the time. Purpose.
Yep.
What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like me and Will, we're like the most random guys from the corner of Georgia. Why do we have a show? Why are people listening to us? Why are people watching? It doesn't make any sense. I think it's so weird still.
Right.
And people, like, they want this so bad. And they try to force it.
Yep.
And I love the clip that you had. You're like, you're just mad because you're jealous.
I mean, well, I never would have said that until I actually learned how this whole industry works. And it's not, like, I always was kind of naive, like, oh, people, these conservative, I guess, celebrities or whatever, they're out there fighting the fight so we can go about our days because they're fighting for our freedoms. But then when you actually start to meet these people and see what's actually motivating them, then you see it's all about the follower count. It's all about impressions. It's all a competition. And so, because I was like, okay, why do these random people who I'm supposedly on your team, why do you hate on me? So it only makes sense that it's like, oh, because you've been working years to get what I got overnight. And I understand that, but I think it is kind of like, that is how it is, because this is how this whole world is. And I didn't realize till I was thrown into it.
Yeah, we live in a clicks and views economy.
Yes.
That's all people care about. People will say whatever they can in order to get as much virality as possible.
Right.
And they are saying things that they don't agree with, that don't sit right in their hearts, and they put it out there anyway, just hoping to catch lightning in a bottle.
Yep.
And when they see someone else do it, that really rubs them the wrong way. That really pisses them off.
And I hate to say that because it makes you sound like such a,
yeah.
like, oh my God, they're just jealous. No, they aren't. But I mean, a spade is a spade. So I'm all about calling them out, right?
And so you were at the Turning Point event, and you were at, well, I don't even know, AFPAC? Is it like, is that what it's called, AFPAC?
Yes, I think it's like the America First. I had I knew what Turning Point was. I think everybody does. But AFPAC, I was like, okay, so AFPAC's like the more alternative of Turning Point. That's how I had it pictured in my head. So I didn't see it as a big deal to go there. Apparently you're like a Nazi and a white supremacist and all this crazy nonsense if you go there. But I just went there because I wanted to see what was going on. I wanted to actually meet the players. And I kind of wanted to see some of the people who were like dragging me on the internet. And I went right up to them and shook their hands because they didn't come up to me, of course.
Yeah, the people are so disingenuous, especially in this industry. And, well, I want to talk about Turning Point. Turning Point, it's a big event.
Right.
And what they do, everyone knows what they got going on. And Charlie Kirk's built a huge name for himself.
Right.
And the event hosts a lot of people, a lot of the prominent conservative speakers. And President Trump was there on Saturday evening. Everyone that went to the event, they came back later and they told me, Matt, I kind of regret spending so much money to come here. It felt like a big trade show. That's what people have told me. And I thought that was really disappointing because people go there because they think they're going to be a part of change.
Right.
That something is happening.
Right.
And it's just, hey, speaker, go to the trade show. Hey, here's a speaker, go to the trade show. Oh, go check out our vendors. Like, it's the Charlie Kirk trade show. That's what people at least told me. I didn't go. What was your takeaway from it?
Exactly so. Like, obviously, the people who were there, you could tell these people are just, they love America. Like, I love the people. And I really liked those people that were attending. But like I said, it felt like a flea market kind of. It was all these vendors trying to sell you something. And I was like, and none of these people are really fighting for America. They may have started out that way, but I think at the end of the day, they all kind of like you chase the money, which is understandable. Like, you have to make a living. It's, we're not all altruistic people just out here for the greater good. Like, you have families to feed and whatever, but it just didn't feel genuine, and it felt like a bazaar that they were trying to sell just tickets for, but the people that were there, those are still working American people who care about the country, and they think, we got to rally behind some team, so we're going to go with this team. But yeah, it felt kind of disingenuous, and it was definitely like a fair. There was like all these vendors. I was like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. I expected it to be like a rally or something.
Yeah, what do you expect going in?
I really didn't know. I got invited to go up there with a group of people because obviously I wasn't going to go by myself because I've got like a lot of death threats out for me, and it's Detroit. So I was like, I'm not exactly going by myself. So I was like, okay, sure, I'll go with this group. And we were just kind of like winging it, and we decided to go there. We had a little bit of hassle getting in at first. But yeah, I don't know really what I was expecting. I kind of, not what it was though. I kind of thought it was just going to be just like crowds of people mulling around. I did not expect it to be like little stands of like selling stuff and whatever, but that's what it was.
Did you buy anything?
No. No. No, security had taken my purse because we couldn't bring purses. Or no, they were searching my purse, and then my group started to leave, and I was like, I guess I'll just leave that there. So I was a broke-ass nigga.
The AFPAC event, Nick Fuentes and his crew. And I find them confusing because they have two mantras. They have their Christ is King mantra, which I agree. They have their America First mantra, which I agree. They can't seem to figure out which one they are. I think that's the confusion because they say Christ is King, but then America First. Well, what's really first, God or state? I think that's still for a lot of people. We think that politics will save America. The reality is politics, you're starting to see, like, they're not going to save
Politics
shit.
is what's hurting America.
Politics ain't saving shit.
No.
So I get their point, and I don't disagree with everything they say. Actually, I find a lot of things they say actually really fascinating.
Right.
What was your experience like there? Because this is kind of where the hatred from the hard right came towards you.
Yeah, well, I went there very naive because I didn't know what I was getting myself into. And I just kind of wanted to just go up there and see for myself. So I went up there from a normie's perspective, just a person who's not involved in any of this, has basic kind of mainstream, well, maybe a little bit more radical than mainstream, I don't know. But I went up there with an open mind, because I do think America needs to be put first for once. I don't know why we're involved in these wars. I don't know why we have to send money over to, it's just, we need America first. So I was under the impression that that's what it was. I think when I went up there, I just kind of was like, this doesn't feel like there's people here who do care, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. And I met some really, really awesome people, really sweet people. Genuine people who care, but I think it's just I just didn't see it going anywhere. It just felt like a leaf in the wind, and there was all these like mantras, like you were saying, but it kind of felt more like a game, like it was just a fun time, which I'm all about having a fun time. But I was like, okay, I mean, if we want to change America, having a fun time and playing dress up and doing your little chants, that's not really helping anything.
Not gonna do it?
No, it's not going to do it.
Because I've seen him around, and I've seen him kind of, I know he has a show. I've seen the clips of him. I know him coming back on X was a big deal. And then I saw his speech from the balcony, and I was like, okay, I can see why people like him. He's really charismatic. I had never consumed that much content from him. Actually, watching him at AFPAC and doing a speech was probably the most I've ever consumed.
Same, yeah.
I was like, okay, he's not a radical.
No.
But I'm watching everything around him. I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of gay.
That was my takeaway, and I got so like hated on for saying that. Like, I'm sorry, but you guys should have girlfriends and wives. This is very a weird vibe here. It was a weird energy.
Was it all guys?
Oh yeah, it was a sausage party.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the afterwards and.
Oh yeah. No, it was like the opposite of a frat party. Where in there, it's like if you show up to the frat house, if you're a guy, you're out. But they want all the girls in. It was completely the opposite. There was I think there was three or four other girls there and me. So yeah, it was very odd energy there.
Because I remember seeing this picture. Oh, Lilly posted a video and she's at AFPAC with America First, but there's a Israeli flag in the background.
Yeah, that was a joke.
And they were clipping it and putting it everywhere. I was like, first off, and first I was like zoomed. I was like, huh. I was like, why do I care? It's so stupid that I just zoomed. I caught myself.
Well,
Like, this
was
is
the
so
point.
dumb. This is so dumb. I can't believe I just zoomed.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot.
This was an elaborate thing. So I had missed my flight. I was supposed to fly out Sunday night. I went to the airport. It was actually really strange. So there's a lot of conspiracies around this too, but went to the airport. My flight was canceled for some reason. And then I got a text that the flight had still departed. And they were just like, oh, well, this flight, you can't get on here because there's a weather issue. So I was like, okay, that's weird. So I texted the people, the group that I went with, and I was like, listen, I can't get another flight till the morning. And they were like, well, we've got a whole Airbnb here. You can just crash here. So we went back there and we were just sitting around talking and stuff. And they were like, we should. And that this one guy came in and he had all this merch and he had all these little Israeli flags. And we started talking. We were like, you should lean into this. We should make a little troll video and troll all these people. So they were like, no, we should just hang it up really obvious. And I was like, no. If you do it obvious, then it's obviously a joke.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of thought into this. I carefully placed it there, put the keys on top of it. So it just looked like it had just been, it was very obscure. And yeah, everybody walked right into it. It was funny to watch.
I walked into him wait a second. Zoom. Don't
Oh
be
my
an
gosh,
idiot.
the
I can't
best
believe I'm
part
zooming.
was that there was a hat there that had 1776. And since I was filming from the front, the selfie camera, it looked like Hebrew words. And so I saw some people were like, and look, the hat has Hebrew on it too. It was really funny.
And why do people care? I'm not a big Israeli war supporter at all. I think it's really sketchy.
Yeah.
But if you are, who cares? Why do people go out of their way to
don't know.
zoom in and crop it
Yeah.
and blow it up and be like, look,
Because
we told
it's a
you.
game. It's a game. That's what I saw. This whole thing, I was like, this is so disingenuous. Yeah, there's people up. I don't talk about Nick Fuentes because I have I don't know him. I didn't meet him there. I saw him from a distance. I've never watched his shows before. I don't know him. All I can tell is just from the general vibe that I got when I was there. And it was just odd. It was these aren't really serious people. It's a fun time, and I get that. But you can't exactly think that you're changing America with your little frat.
Do you think it's people are looking for community, people are looking for a place to have a good time, looking for friends, or is it that they join a movement because they do care, but then, most people are just lonely. And they're like, oh, I have friends now, and then it becomes that. I mean, what's
I think
first?
that's what it is. Yeah, I think it's a lot of people and I understand because there's not a lot of places for men, I guess. I guess you guys go golfing and whatever. That's
like to golf.
That's your men thing. I don't understand it. It's too hard. But, I understand that need for fraternities, and it's a good thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a good thing for guys to have those little fraternities. But I think
Oh, they're going to be so mad you called it a little fraternity, by the way.
Oh, well, I mean, it is. They've already come after me, so I'm like, what else have you got? You've already lied about me. You've already tried to ruin my reputation, drag me through the mud. Come for me again. That's fine.
Well, let's go back real quick. You got fired from your job.
So it was, the way it was the lady that hired me, so she's the owner of the company.
What were you doing?
I was doing marketing,
Okay.
PR, and a lot of different hats for this company. And she's a great person. She's actually a Jamaican immigrant herself. Christian lady, conservative, whatever. So she had my back. She was like, I don't see that there's a big deal with this, but the rest of the people who had stakes in the company, she has to listen to them too. The rest of her staff were not a fan. So basically she was like, I kind of worked out finished up my projects and whatever because she still needed help, and she can't you can't just legally just drop somebody, or else then I have a reason to come after her. But so I just finished that, but she was like, yeah, she put out the statement that I was no longer working for the company. So yeah, it's officially like cut. Yeah.
When I first saw that, I thought that was a part of like the whole thing too. I was like, okay, this makes for a really good story. So video goes viral, and then you say, I don't care, and then all of a sudden you put out the picture of getting fired as official letter. I was like, oh, this is like 5D chess, but it wasn't. It just really happened.
Well, the thing was, it was like she had told me that they want you out. Like basically, it's one of those things where they give you the option to kind of like walk away. And at the same time, it's not like I'm going to fight it because I really like her. She's really nice. She's got a good this is her business. She's got a family to feed. I'm not going to tank her company, for somebody who I'd only worked there for like 3 weeks anyway.
Okay. So you're just new.
Right. So I was like, we'll just, we're just going to work through this and, you don't have to worry about it.
And she probably had no idea that hiring you would create this crazy back. I wonder if her business
oh my
got
God.
any new business, bad business.
I don't know. I need to ask her, but they really, it's so ridiculous. The people who care about black people so much and they're like trying to tank a black woman's business. Like it's very ironic,
Because they say all press is good press.
Yeah.
And probably a company that no one's ever heard of. Now a lot of people know of. I wonder if she saw an uptick.
Well, I hope so. Because,
maybe she owes you a commission check.
Yeah, I know, right?
Maybe time to make that call. In the beginning. Who knows? Maybe the people that want you are like, hey, can you get Lilly back?
Yeah. No, the rest of the staff, they were not a fan. So I was like, she was basically like, this is what the board said. So, and I was like, okay, that's cool. So I'll finish up my projects here, zip it up or whatever. So, but yeah, it's done deal, which is kind of sad because it was kind of, something I wanted, but life takes different directions and it was my own fault. So I can blame only myself.
What did that feel like? All of a sudden, I mean, you were just making videos and all of a sudden something goes viral and now you have all this hate and from various directions and now you're getting fired. It must seem like the world is crashing on you at one moment.
I think it wasn't as bad because I've seen this play out with a lot of people. Like this is how it goes, and the conservative people that I've listened to or whatever, this is how it goes. Like you get canceled. You have about 3 days to a week of a hellstorm on you. You usually lose your job and then you figure out how to rise from the ashes and make something of it. So I think I didn't feel completely overwhelmed because I know how this kind of works, and I was like, well, you either take 2 routes. Like most people when they get canceled or whatever, they either try to apologize and do a whole PR campaign and try to fix it, which never works, by the way. Once that's happened, it's over. Or you just double down, and again, I wasn't wrong. So you're not going to force me to apologize for something I'm not sorry for and that I didn't do anything wrong. So I went the double down route.
Because everyone does it differently. I remember, what was her name? You're Not Real girl. Tiffany.
I have no idea what her name is.
Tiffany Gomez or something like this.
Yeah.
You're Not Real girl.
Is that Tiffany Gomez?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I see her all over Twitter and I had no idea that was her.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
That is not real or whatever she said. Whatever it is.
Oh my gosh.
And she went super viral for that moment. Everyone was memeing it. And then she just completely disappeared for a while and then came back. And now she's trying to reinvent herself and run into it. But she took like a month or 2 months off, kind of hiding away. And then you have the Hawk Tui girl, who just came out of nowhere for like the most random, I think super cute clip. I thought it was really cute. I don't think she deserves it.
No, everybody like shitting. I'm like, what?
No, it's cute. It was
somebody out
innocent.
having a fun time. Like it's not even anything bad.
But it went like super viral. And she got fired also.
Yeah.
And she just disappeared.
Yeah.
I don't know if she'll make a comeback. Who knows? I don't think it's something she asked for.
She doesn't have like a lot to work for, Like the one lady, although I guess I don't know what she had to work for. Like
She
what
was
direction?
like some PR
what direction
person.
do you take that?
Yeah.
And the Hawk Tui girl, like what direction do you take that? Like you sell merch?
A lot of other people are selling Hawk Tui merch. Actually, a mutual friend of ours, Jason, sent me a video from this morning, and it was a truck that said Haktua on the back.
No way, already? Wow.
It was a truck. It just like spray painted on the back of this old like pickup truck. It was a Haktua or a semi truck or whatever it was. I thought it was funny. If you had advice for maybe the Haktua girl, because Tiffany Gomez, she's like doing her thing now and she's trying to be something. If you had a word of advice for the Haktua girl, I don't know her name. I'm sorry if you're watching.
Me neither.
I don't know. If you had a word of advice for her.
I would say, unless you get plastic surgery and change your face, this is who you are now, you know? So you're going to either have to try to move to West Virginia and work in a convenience store where no one knows you, or you're going to have to just lean into it, you know, and try to make something of it because it's an opportunity. And nobody, like lots of people say crazy things all the time and they don't get that kind of opportunity or media firestorm or whatever. And at least she got famous for kind of a positive reason. I haven't seen a whole lot of negativity towards her. I don't know. But I would say just lean into it, you know, and try to figure out. Maybe you got to get somebody who knows about business. That's important.
Because when you went viral, unlike those two who kind of disappeared, you said, I'm in, I'm going in, and I'm not turning back.
Yeah. Well, I got mad.
Yeah.
I was mad.
Why?
Well, I mean, I had people doxing my address. I had whatever. So I was like, you know what? It's fucking a war. You want a war? I'm going to war with you people then. You know, and I've been waging war against everyone else since.
And most people, they don't want to go to war. They don't want that. They don't want the craziness that this circus brings.
Right.
But you were like, bring it on.
Yeah. Well, there's no backing down. Like, you know, it is what it is. So you either, if you retreat, then you've lost. You know, I'm probably going to lose anyway, but at least if you keep plowing forward, you have at least a little chance of winning.
Why is winning important to you?
Who wants to lose?
Fair.
Who wants to be a loser?
Well, if you could maybe change one thing about how the last few weeks have gone, what's one thing that you say, I wish maybe I would handle that a little bit differently? Because it's been about 3 weeks.
Right. I think maybe I wouldn't have gone up to AFPAC and Turning Point. I think I would have stayed aloof of these groups that really do nothing for you and they just kind of like pull you down. And I think I would have stayed more just aloof and just created my content, you know, and not gotten involved. But maybe that's a good thing too. I don't know. It opened my eyes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly. And that's a good thing.
Seeing the economy that's built around it.
Yeah.
That most people, they just want to make money.
Yeah.
And the comparison I give often is that there's two types of people on the internet. There are content creators who are 99% of people, and they create content for themselves, actually. They do it because they want money, power, influence. And then there's the 1% of people that do it for the benefit of others, that they want to add value to someone else's life. And that's a much more difficult road to go.
Right.
Because there's not as much money there.
Right.
But eventually, you need to make money. Where do you see yourself going?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not sad about this because I always have, like, especially since I have a child, like, I've got a stake in the game now. You know, you see how the country's going. And I love freedom. Like, I've always been claustrophobic. I don't like the idea of being trapped or you know, whatever. And that seems to be the vibe in America right now. Everybody is very suppressed. You know, there's not any fun in America. Everybody's scared you can get in trouble for this. You can't say that. You know, and I don't like living in a country where you're suppressed. That's not America. You know, we were formed on rebellion. We were formed on, I mean, what is our reputation? Europeans all think we're loud and wild and over the top. Like, I like that. That's because Europeans are living in this, you know, they are scared of being censored. You can go to jail for posting a meme over there. And that's why there's the difference between the people. And I want to keep that. I want to keep that, like, people being able to feel free to express themselves however they want. You know, so I think if I can try to, you know, earn a living and feed my family while preserving the country that my family is going to ultimately live in, I think that would be perfect. Now, how I'm going to do that, I don't know. But right now, I think I've got like the people who have my back, like I really like them. You know, they're like normal people. And, you know, I appreciate that. Like I like those people. And I want to make sure that if I can figure out how to get those people off the couch and doing something, because they've opted out for understandably. But if we can figure out how to like make some sort of a movement of people, an awakening of just the people who, you know, they sit on the couch, they try to opt out, you know, they're really the suppressed ones. If we can figure out a way to fix that and get them all riled up, then that is a win. Then I am winning.
And it's tough because you've seen the belly of the beast on all directions. It's pretty damn corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
And it's extremely disingenuous. And it is extremely disappointing.
Yeah.
And then when you see people sit out, it's like, well, I'm not that mad at them. Maybe actually those people know better.
Yeah.
you know, maybe they have the right idea. But the reality is that you still need to get involved because you can't just forfeit it to the other side.
Right.
And you can't let the people in charge just do whatever they want because, you know, they are actively programming our minds.
Right.
They are forcing us to believe one way or whatever they want us to believe. And I think we're trying to fight that, trying to keep people, their minds free, because that's literally what it is. I mean, you love to surf because you get to be free, right?
I know. Nobody's telling you what to do. You're just kind of like going with nature, not going with the flow, and that's nice.
You're a big surfer?
I'm not like great. I would say I'm like an intermediate, but I love it. It's, you know, it's just kind of calming and it's exciting. Like I do like exciting things and fun things. So yeah, I love it. And
you have a young son, almost 2 years old. Oh, you said 2 years old this weekend.
Well, he'll be 2 pretty soon.
Pretty soon. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'll tell him.
Let him know I said happy birthday.
Yeah, I will.
But you're a single mom. Why are you a single mom? Because people are like, oh, how can she tell people how to be a woman or how to be a thing, and she's a single mom? Well,
I never have. Like all the people saying, oh, why is she attractive? I've never said that. You've all said that about me.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never told people, you need to be more like me. Like I would never, I'm not a role model for anyone. Don't do anything like how I do, you know? I think a lot of people, nobody's perfect. I think a lot of these people that you follow that you think are perfect, they're all about having a perfect image and they don't care about how dirty it looks like behind the scenes. Where I'm like the opposite. I would rather put my worst foot forward and, you know, save the better behind the scenes than the opposite of that, because I don't like to be on a pedestal because you get knocked off of that, you know. So I've never actually put myself up to be perfect. I'm not a role model. I'm not perfect. I have fucked up in my life. I make stupid decisions. I'm really stupid, you know. But I would say, like, that's why I appeal to normal people, because I'm not trying to hide that, you know. And lots of people have had shit happen, you know, and lots of people make bad mistakes and bad decisions, and you have to live with that. But I think, I think shit happens, and you just have to try to make the best of it, you know, and take accountability. Like, yeah, I fucked up, obviously. You know, that's stupid. Like, I wish it wasn't that way, but it is what it is. And you can either wallow in self-pity and make your whole brand about, like, oh, feel bad for me, you know, because whatever, men are so shitty, and, you know. No, you just forge through. You don't be a baby. You don't play the victim. It sucks, but, you know, it's fine. So I would say don't be like me. But if shit happens in your life, I totally get it, you know.
Because being a single mom for a young boy, it's not easy. I mean, we have a young daughter of approximately the same age. And with me and my wife trying to take care of her at the same time, it's already difficult.
Yeah.
Running around everywhere, causing all kinds of problems. She's in the no phase.
Yeah.
Says, no. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Who are you saying no to?
Yeah.
I'm your dad. Don't say no. And like, no. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
But you got to go that road alone right now. Do you have family around helping?
Yeah, I've got a big family. So I have I've got a lot of brothers and stuff, and they're obsessed with him, obviously. So it's not like he, you know, again, I try to keep my life personal. So, I'd rather just have people make all these assumptions or whatever. But yeah, I've got a big family and they're extremely involved, and there's lots of like good men in my life and stuff. So I'm not too worried about that. And I think a lot of these, yeah, it's true. The patterns is true. The statistics are true. But I don't think that's necessarily everyone, you know.
And I think as long as you're conscious that,
Right.
men need male role models and something that you're actively doing. I mean, we all do the best we can.
Right.
It's not easy.
Right.
Everyone's given different curveballs in life. No one's journey is the same.
Right.
How are your family dealing with kind of all of this?
Well,
do they get bugged?
Yeah, they do. Well, they've all kind of like been doxxed too and whatever.
Really?
So they, but again, they're like, at least for them, nobody's actually going to pull up on them or whatever because they're like big, country boys.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to pull some shit with them. But they were a little bit upset at first. But I was like, listen, it is what it is now. So we all have to like pull together like a family, like the Godfather, right? Sorry. I didn't mean this to happen, but things happen for a reason, I hope.
I mean, when you told your family about what's going on,
I didn't have to tell them.
they found out
they
their
were
own?
told.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And did they call you? Your dad, your mom, your brothers?
Yeah,
Did they
yeah.
call you?
Oh, no,
or-
they all rolled up on me.
Oh, they just showed up?
It was an ambush, yes.
We need to talk.
Yes.
Was that awkward?
No, I was a little bit pissed because I was like, damn, way to have my back, boys. Yeah. But, I understand it. Like, that's the problem. It brings other people involved in this, as you would know, as anyone in the public eye would know. But, at the end of the day, it's like you're still an adult and you can't, it's my whole thing. Like, you can't be afraid to say whatever you're thinking, and you can't self-censor because this might happen or this might happen, because that's why we're here as a country. It's because of that,
Yeah, I think the scariest thing and the worst thing about the last 4 years of our life is the normalization of self-censorship.
Right.
People are so scared about, oh, what if I get canceled? What if I get fired? What if something happens? And then what if I lose my friends? What if I lose my family? And because of that, they don't say anything.
Right.
And then they see people like you be like, well, I'm just going to say it anyway. And if anything, it gives people hope that, hey, I can do this.
Right.
Because she got fired, but yet she's still alive. She's still talking. People are actually more interested in what she's saying. It empowers people. I think it's amazing.
Right. Well, and it lessens that. Like, the more people that chip away at this fake facade of, oh, you can't do this because the worst thing's going to happen, the more people that chip away at that, the less power it has. It's a few people that have this whole cancel culture, whatever, and we're letting this tiny minority of people dictate what we can and can't say. And that's the worst part, because at this point, it's not like I can even blame the government. It's not like the government came after me, but it's a weaponized populace. Everybody is we've gotten to the point in the country where your neighbor is almost a worse enemy than the feds, because your neighbors they're going to turn you in for this. They're going to call on you for this. You're out in, I don't know, like spanking. That's for one thing. I see a lot of parents out in public, like even at the airport. There was this little boy throwing an absolute tantrum, like being so like a bad, like slapping his mom and whatever. And I was like, and she can't punish that kid because one of these people would call her into CPS. She might even have a cop pull up on her in the airport. So it's that weaponization of the people against the people that's taken away our freedoms even more than the government. Like, we love to rail against the government. I love to rail it. I'm not a fan.
No, not a fan at all. Not a lot of fans watching.
No,
not a lot of government fans.
But you know what I mean? It's like, at this point, the people who are actually taking away your freedoms are other people, and that's a big problem. So, but as soon as we show them, look, we don't care. We don't care if you call my employer. We don't care if you get mad. We don't care if you dox my address or whatever. What are you going to do? Actually come up? No, you're not. Because they don't have any backbone, because they don't have the courage of their convictions, They don't even know what they believe. Like, at least we know what we believe. We know what's reality. And they've been forcing us to live in this fake reality where we have to just be like, oh, yeah, no, it's perfectly normal for a guy to transition when he has a family. Oh, that's perfectly normal. Yeah, slap on some lipstick. Yeah, you're a woman. Okay.
Yeah, it's so normal that the most popular YouTuber in the world all of a sudden has a sidekick that becomes transgender, and then now he is a woman, actually a woman, and they want him to call him by a different name now. And that's so normal that the YouTube gods have decided that they're going to take the most popular YouTuber in the world that's reaching hundreds of millions of children and say, yeah, look, Mr. Beast likes him. Mr. Beast has a friend. He's accepting. You should be accepting.
Yep.
It's disgusting. I can't believe they allow it. I can't believe we allow it.
Yep.
And you know what? I can't believe every once in a while I see the thumbnail come up and I watch the video. It's the worst. I feel so bad. I feel so dirty.
At least you're hate watching it.
No, I'm like, he makes really good videos.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I wish he didn't make such good videos.
Well, it's like music. Christian music, I'm sorry, it sucks.
Yeah.
You have to sell your soul to the devil to make good music.
And it's not easy because in anything, if you don't sell out, it's really hard to succeed. And the
Right.
people along in politics, conservative media, even, they're like, oh, Hollywood is so evil. The media is so evil. All these things are so evil, but yet they do the same exact thing.
Well, that's what I found. I was like, because I was on the conservative end, and I'm sure it's the same on the lefty end. I wouldn't know about that world, thank God. But, it's like a mini Hollywood. And that's the vibe I got from all of these places that I've seen. I was like, these are just celebrities, and it's just competition. And it's not about, there's no greater good here, and it's just it's really the people who don't necessarily succeed that are actually doing something,
Yeah, the ones that are really good, the ones that I think are really good, that seem to be honest and genuine. And at this point in life, I'm at a point where I don't even care if I agree with you. If you're an honest, genuine person, and I feel like you're saying something that you actually personally believe,
Right.
I'm willing to listen to you. Because at least I know you're telling me your truth,
Right.
of your honest perspective.
Right.
Maybe I don't agree, but at least I know it's coming from you. And then there are a lot of people out there that may say something that I do agree with. But I'm like, but you're full of shit. I actually don't care about what you say at all, because how am I ever supposed to decipher between do I believe you or not
Right.
if you're just not a genuine person? And the amount of content that I'm able to watch, once I kind of made that my rule,
Yeah.
I watch like nobody.
I know, right?
It's a very small group of people.
Once you actually see how it is, you're like, wow, who do I listen to? I guess no one.
I don't know. Yourself?
Yeah.
I'll subscribe to Lily Pad on Rumble. That's what I'm going to do.
That's why Tucker turns off the phones and whatever. He just
Doesn't talk. He doesn't watch anything. He doesn't consume anything because
you can't think of anything, and I've even seen this for myself. Like when you get inundated with this, then it's like, wait, what am I again? What do I think about things? Because you're so used to hearing other things, and you're like, okay, and it's really easy. Like you have to be very self-aware and make sure you're not falling into a mold or whatever, and make sure you're not subscribing to this clique or that clique. And that's why I've been so against all these little groups, because obviously it's divide and conquer, but it's just stupid too.
the reality is that if you join one of the cliques, you're going to do better. You're going to make more money. You're going to get more views. You're going to have protection of a network.
Right.
And that's the reality of how things work. And I'm good. I'm just going to figure this thing out. I feel like at some point, someone's got to do it the honest way. But I don't recommend that route for everybody. Because it's actually a very lonely road.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that you can lean on.
Yeah.
And it's easier if there are people that can help you.
Yeah.
But that's the reality of what we face. I don't know if you've gotten the calls yet. If you haven't, you will soon. Of people that say, well, Lily, if you can make a video about this topic, then we'll pay you X amount of dollars. You're going to get those. I don't know if you got them. You got a bunch of them. And it's not easy because they offer a lot of money. But that's the best way. That's how people make money doing this, you know? And a lot of people who do the paid content, the reality is they're like, oh, the media is dead.
Yeah.
Mainstream media is dead because they're just telling you things that they were paid to tell you.
Yeah. But now alternative media is the same thing.
Exactly the same. Oh, they're only saying it because their sponsors told you. Oh, look how disingenuous they are. They only promote the vaccine because they're sponsored by Pfizer.
Right.
And then they're sponsored by a different pharmaceutical company. Oh, that one's no good. This one's good. You know?
And then as soon as you think you found the right one, it's just a disappointment again.
It's tough. It's tough. And if anyone goes that route, I get it. I can't be mad at you for it.
Right.
It is what it is. Everyone's got to make a way to survive and live. I've made a conscious decision early on that I'm just not going to do it because I think it's a really slippery slope.
Right.
You say one thing to something you agree with, and all of a sudden you're going down this road of saying things that you don't agree with. 90-something% of the internet.
Right. Like I'll like support things that if say somebody reaches out and they've got a good thing.
Yeah.
Like if I align with that and I agree with it, like 100%, you got my support. You know. Like, but most of these people that reach out, it's like you kind of have to warp what your perspective is to fit that. And then it's like, well, no, the only reason I'm here is because I had a slightly different perspective. So if I fit somebody else's mold, then you're just another clone of everyone else.
I mean, we were connected by Jason, and I love Jason, mutual friend of ours, and he's the one that connects us together. And he's been working on a campaign that I absolutely love. And they never offered me any money. I just really believe in him. I think he's an honest, genuine person. I think he legitimately cares about the country. I think what he's doing is really trying to make a difference. And he's encouraging people to take a friend and go vote. It's not enough that you go vote yourself.
Right.
Take a friend and go vote.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
I know, because it's shocking whenever you see these people, like, you'll know hunters, you know, people who, like, love guns and whatever. And then you ask them, oh, who did you vote for? Oh, I didn't vote. Like, what? Like, I know there's a lot of, like, you know, skepticism about election integrity and all that, but we still have it. It's like free speech. If you self-censor, you'll lose it. You know, and that's always been my thing with voting. Like, even if it's just voting for the least bad candidate, it's still better than not going out at all, you know? So I do think it's important. Like, you have to find, we all know that one person. Like, we all know that one person who just won't go, you know? And it's not that hard. Like, I get you want to hole up on your, you know, your ranch far away, but you're not going to have that ranch. They'll come after that ranch. They won't let you water your garden. They won't let you whatever if you don't get slightly involved. Like, it's like an hour or two of your day. You know?
At most.
Yeah.
Some people, it's like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Right.
All you got to do is just go out of your way, 15 minutes, even if you think your vote doesn't matter.
Right.
The worst you have to lose is like 15 minutes of your time.
Well, even if it's kind of like keeping the government, because they're watching too, you know? And if they see, oh, wow, the people are collectively like actually going out to do something, they actually are going out to vote still. They're like, ooh, they're still kind of engaged. But as soon as they sense that everybody's like checked out, then you'll see them pull out all the stops, you know? So yeah, I think it's important. And I love his idea. Like, it's not, the good thing is like, he's not paying anybody for that. Like, it's not an ad or whatever. He's not endorsing any candidates. It's just vote for America.
Yeah.
You know, like, you go out, whatever you see fit, but you have to have your voice heard. And that's been my whole thing. Like, just have your voice heard, you know? And I get not everybody wants to have a platform. Not everybody wants to be in the public eye. And you don't have to do that. But like, just finding a person who didn't vote, finding a person who enjoys having all those rights, but yet doesn't want to do anything to preserve them. Like, if people could go to war and die for those rights, you can take an hour out of your day.
And it's not difficult to do. And
no. It's kind of fun too. It's like,
yeah, you get a sticker.
Yeah.
I
you
voted
get to
sticker.
stand in line. You get to give dirty looks to the Democrats over there in their little line.
I think that's what we're going to do. I think on election day, I think we'll do a big live stream.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do it on Instagram or something like this.
Yeah.
And everyone that goes votes, like, you can dial in or you can call in and you can get your social media plug. Yeah. And all you got to do is be in line.
Right.
That'd be a good thing to do. That'd be fun.
They ought to let people drink in line too. So everybody could like be having a little darty outside while we're waiting in line.
I feel like that'll go bad really fast.
Probably. Oh, they're bribing people with alcohol now.
As long as you're like 20 feet away maybe from the line.
Right.
Maybe that's okay.
Everybody pregame in your car and then go stand in line.
Yeah. What was your upbringing like? I
had kind of an alternative upbringing. well, we moved around a lot. So we lived out west a lot. All my siblings were born in different states. So we lived out west a lot. And then, but I really remember being raised in Georgia. So we were raised just outside of like Chattanooga, Tennessee, about 30 minutes outside of there. So not far from here, actually. And we had like, well, before that, we lived in Alabama. We had like a ranch. We had tons of horses and, you know, big barn and the typical like ranch thing. So we were homeschooled for like a little while just because we were all doing this traveling and stuff. It was like, there's no point to go to school. And so I was raised up like, you know, basically like a boy, like tomboy. Like, thank God I didn't have liberal parents. They would have been like, I think we should cut off her tits now. But no, it was really fun. I think it's a really good way to be raised. And I think it makes me, I feel so sad for kids that grew up, you know, from like infancy, being in daycare and then being in like preschool and all that. Like, it's fun. My best memories in life are being a kid. You know, it's fun. Life's amazing when you're a kid, especially if you are in the woods and you don't have a helicopter parent and you can just run around and be wild and ride horses and, you know, milk goats and stuff. We had like a dairy farm too. So I was a whole like farm girl. But then we ended up kind of getting more settled. And I finished off like my last couple of years of high school in a private school. So it was like a private Christian school. It was really little. But that was kind of fun too. You know, good experience. So I would say, you know, obviously there's this shit that goes down in your childhood or whatever, but all in all, I would say I have very fond memories.
So as your son gets older, you've done the homeschool thing, you've done the private Christian school thing. What would you want for your kid?
Well, I want him to be an athlete. I want him to like be a professional surfer. So
Professional surfer?
Oh yeah. I want him to be the next like Shane Dorian or something, Kelly Slater. But to do that, like, obviously he's got to be homeschooled. So, you know, and plus you just like get to have fun, like whatever he wants to do. You know, I just want him to be able to succeed at something because I do think athletics is really good. Like, it seems to put kids in a better direction. They're not like weird. They don't start hanging out with. That's my whole shtick with like weird people, because when you start hanging out, then the worse and worse people start bringing you down. You know, misery loves company. So that's the thing, where if you start out in a better route with people who are driven, people who are disciplined. You know, I did sports, and like when I went to private school, did sports and track and cross country, and that keeps you in a good crowd, a crowd of, you know, self-disciplined people and whatever. So I think that's important, and I want him to have a childhood. You know, I don't want him to be raised in basically a 9 to 5 as a kid. I think that's really important. And, you know, whatever he wants to do with his life, you know, I hope he does well at it. But I think him having a good foundation, being, you know, athletic, doing fun things, being outside, hanging out with other good people, that's going to elevate him rather than pulling him down. I think that's important too. And then working hard. Like, you got to work hard. You have to get a job no matter what it is.
Well, I mean, mom needs to get a job first.
Exactly. So that's what we're working on now.
Work on it. If anyone's hiring.
Apparently I'm a grift, but the grift is not going so well right now.
No, you didn't bring the bag of shekels with you.
No, I didn't. I already spent them.
So you're from a pretty Christian household then, because you went to a Christian.
Oh yeah, I've always been like conservative Christian. So I would say I like had my little conversion when I was like, I think I was 12 or something. Okay. You know, and I know it was real. Like, I'm obviously a terrible Christian. People always come for me. They're like, you don't need to be, like, I don't even like the idea of being set up as this like Christian influencer, because I am not a good example at all to follow. But, you know, we all try. And we're all like sinners at the end of the day. That's why we're human. That's why we all strive for heaven or whatever, hoping we're going to get in there, right? But yeah, always raised in a conservative household. So I never had like a red pill movement. You know, I was always just kind of like common sense.
I feel like throughout this year, especially in something we talk about with Will all the time, is that in the beginning we're like, all right, maybe we got lucky. And then it kind of grows and you start getting around certain people. And the amount of people that I keep on running into especially over the last month, 2 months, are just the most amazing people. Yeah. And a lot of faith-driven people. I keep on getting intertwined with people that are like real believers, not like the fake conservative believers, because that's a very clear different two groups. Yeah. And I keep on getting woven into it, and at the end of it, I'm like, oh, maybe there is a greater purpose. Maybe it is God telling me that we should be pursuing these things. And I almost feel like there's this revival going around the country.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like that, actually. So they say for a revival to happen, that it's three components. One is intellectual. So people have to realize in their mind that something's wrong.
Right.
Number two, it's emotional. People need to start getting pissed off or sad or react to the information that they now have.
Yeah.
Which we're kind of there. The third action is will. What are you going to do about it?
Right.
And I feel like we're at the precipice of something changing within the country because we say it all the time, America first, America first, America first. And I get it. I agree. America first over other countries.
Right. I think we all agree on that.
Yes. Over other countries, America should be priority. However, it's this logical fallacy that's saying that for some reason the state and politics will save America.
Right.
And the reality is it won't. Because politics and politicians, if they're corrupt, it's because we are corrupt.
Right.
And they're mimicking how we live as a society. If we want politics to change and we want the direction of the country to change, we actually have to change.
Right.
And this is what I've been thinking about all the time because the reality is it's getting fucking weird out there. Young children, young daughter, young son, I'm legitimately concerned about their future.
Yeah.
I don't want them going and living in this life that it seems like we're heading.
Right.
Then it's time for people to act.
Well, and I think that's why they're so anti-kid, because when you have a kid, it gives you something to actually fight for. It's not just, whatever, I'll wing it. When you're single and you don't have anybody really depending on you, you're a lot more, you take more risks and you live vicariously and whatever. But when you have a family, you're like, wow, I've got to make something, And that's why I feel like I'm even more passionate about trying to wake up the people, because it's not about changing the politics. It's not about changing politicians. It's not about even replacing them, because they're corrupt and they will always be corrupt. And I think maybe you can get the best person in there and it will corrupt them. That's just the nature of how that works. So, I think it's important to just try to get people, just normal people who are going to get shit on, the normal people who, when all this goes down, they're the ones that's going to suffer. We got to get them riled up, So screw the politicians, screw the left and the right. None of them are helping. They're all hurting us. And we have to just get us, the people, together. Regardless of whether we agree or disagree on this and that. Obviously there's the fringes where it's not acceptable. But we know that. But most people, for the most part, they're mildly brainwashed and whatever. But most people,
Mildly brainwashed.
Mildly, yeah.
Mildly, sure.
Sure, yeah. Actually, that's probably true. Maybe I hang out with too many conservative people because I don't think it's as bad as it is. But I feel like a lot of normal people who go to college and they feel because you see it a lot in school, and that seems to be the defining moment, the make or break. And you see a lot of people that go through college and they don't break to that. And there's a lot more of those than you think, But they watch the football game, they go home, they sit on the couch, they go to work. They're not really involved. And that's the people's problem, because this is our country. And we have to take it back by getting us riled up, normal people, because we can't sit by, and I think people are waking up to this too, which is helping. We can't sit by and think somebody else is fighting for us, because they're not.
No.
They're making a business out of it, and that's what I realized. I was like, oh, wow. We do have to get the people riled up, because if we don't do something, nobody else is. And it's almost worse that we have it's like a false sense of security, because you think there's people out there on the front lines and they're not. They're just, part of the game.
Your son. You don't like to talk about him. Or do you like to talk about him?
I want to talk about him. I want to show, I would love to, because I would love to show off what we get to do together and, the fun
Such a slippery
times.
slope.
But yeah, it's one of those, I want to talk about him, but it's just, is it giving people more fodder?
Because every once in a while I'll put up in the beginning, I used to put my daughter on Instagram all the time.
You want to show them off. You're proud of them.
I'm a proud dad.
Yeah.
Before I had a kid, the guys would show up and this is my kid's picture. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
don't take that in my face. I have no interest in your kid at all. They all look the same. And then I had a kid.
Now
I was
you're
like,
101.
hey, look at my
Yes,
daughter.
yes.
And I'm like, I'm that guy.
Yep.
Unapologetically that
Yep.
guy, no problem.
No, in fact, you get stoked anytime you start talking to someone. Even this lady on there's talking on the plane. I was like, "Ooh, I hope she wants to see a picture of my son." And I was like, "I want to show pictures."
I'm gonna get it ready. I'm gonna get it ready.
Yep.
And I was putting her up on my Instagram more frequently. Mm-hmm. And it got to a point where it got so big and so many people, 'cause I just put in the stories, and it got so many people looking that people were like, you shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, number one, that sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks that I can't share my daughter because I'm proud of her. I'm just happy for her. I'm not trying to like peddle her.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like she ran for the first time. I think that's awesome. I want to put it up.
Yeah.
And look at her. She didn't fall.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like such a
Yeah.
proud dad.
I know.
Why can't I put that up? And it sucks that that's reality of our society now.
Right.
That you have to hide your kids away because all I want to do is, my family watches my Instagram. They're watching my stories. Like, hey, this is what it is. This is what social media was for.
Yeah.
And now you have to protect them because there are so many bad people out there.
Right.
How do you find that balance? Where are you struggling with there?
Well, it does kind of suck because, when you don't put your children first and foremost, it's like, oh, you're trying to hide him. You're such a bad mom or whatever. And I'm like, you realize I'm trying to hide him because I'm trying to protect him from all of you. Because it's not just like the pedophiles, obviously, that's out there, because that's
A thing.
a big thing. But it's like then the people who use that as like fodder against you, which we judge people based on like how we are. Like I would never go after why would I go after somebody's kid? That's
Yeah.
so weird. It's weird. I don't care what you're going after them for. It's a weird thing to do. But yeah, you want to show off. Like you want to have that. Like I love that. Like my old Instagram, I've had to like scrub him from everything, which sucks. But yeah. At the end of the day, you know the truth. You know how awesome your kid is.
I know, but I want to
know?
be like, hey, person
I know.
on the plane next to me, look,
I know.
care.
I know.
Please look. Please look. I just want to show, and then I want you to ask me a question so I can tell you more.
And then at the same time, it's like it's too bad because there's so much like anti-kid propaganda out there, and you're like, I can combat this by showing off how great it is.
Yeah.
And like that's another thing I've thought. I was like, but I don't know. I think it's too big of a gamble. You just kind of have to keep it to yourself.
When she turned 1, it's a big Korean culture where you have the kid sit at the front, and opposite, you put all these little things that they grab. So like a mallet for a lawyer and a stethoscope for a doctor and maybe a golf ball for an athlete or whatever, and money and a pen. And it's supposed to signify what they're going to be in the future.
Okay.
So you put them down and they walk over there and grab something. And that's like part of the 1-year birthday.
Right.
So on her 1-year birthday, we put her down and she ran in there, and we did it at the golf course. And she went, and as soon as the first thing she did was she beeline for the golf ball, held it up in the air like Avatar. And the whole place went nuts because it's a golf course. They
Yeah.
all know Dad likes golf.
Yeah.
And everyone, whoa! And it was this big moment. And I was so happy because first off, she grabbed the golf ball because she knows Daddy likes golf balls.
Yeah.
Right? So it was like the biggest proud moment.
Right.
And I put it on Instagram. It did like 12 or 15 million views.
Oh
in
my
like
gosh.
30 seconds of her grabbing a golf ball. And I was like, I don't know if I should put this up.
Yeah.
That's too many people.
You don't know what to think. Like, what is that?
I mean, that's a lot of damn people. And then the sports channels were like pulling it off, and all these people start following me from that video. That's a lot of people. And then they come into my page later, like, that's not what we signed up for.
Right.
That was not.
Right.
I just wanted to follow this little girl, and now I'm getting red pilled. I did not want this in my life.
You fooled them. It was all a plot.
I was not peddling my daughter. I
Yeah.
had no interest in doing that. I had no idea. I thought maybe a handful of people watch. Who knew? I think it's at what is that? 15 million, 12 million, something like this.
Wow.
Of her
That's
grabbing
crazy.
a golf ball. And I was like, oh. And like my family's in the video, and like, it's
Yeah.
like all intimate there. I was like, man, maybe I take this on. But I thought it was a really cool moment, so I left it up. I thought it was special. And I think it should be okay that we share our families with the public because
Yeah.
it gives them an idea of who you are. It gives them an idea of what you care about, what's important to you. It makes you
Right.
really relatable, And it's really difficult because, again, I like people that I feel like I can relate to. I think
Right.
that's why people are really resonating with you because they kind of, everyone's, even like the
Yeah,
older
just
women,
kind
they're
of
like,
like a yeah.
that's what I was like when I was young.
Yeah.
No, you weren't. But but they like to think that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, it's true. I'm like, it's one of those things I'm just kind of figuring out because you get mixed advice. Like, I like your advice because this is the advice I want to hear. But then other people are like, oh, you can't put them up there because it's like, you know, they might end up on some dark web or whatever, or it just gives more fodder for people to hate on your kid. But yeah, I don't know. I wish I could, though. Because, you know, we have like awesome times. Like, he like goes and gardens with me and I take him out on the board with me, and he's just like, he's awesome, you know? And we have like all these fun times, but you can't show it off. And nobody understands unless they have a kid.
Yeah, we went to, I took her to I think it was a South Carolina primary.
Oh, yeah, there's a big down in Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, it wasn't Myrtle Beach, maybe. Anyway,
Near Charleston.
Somewhere there. They had the
Okay.
primary event. And they had an after party for Trump. He was doing a speech, and it was for kind of the donors and whatever else. And I took my daughter and I took my wife, and we went to this event. And my daughter wore like Trump gear,
Yeah.
and it was like super cute, an American flag skirt,
Aw.
and it was adorable. And I'll go to events afterwards, and all these people are like, oh yeah, they don't remember me from like anything else. Like, you were the guy that had the really cute girl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and she had the American flag dress on, and that's what people remember. It's
Right.
like the most odd thing.
Yeah.
You know, and the people show up like, oh yeah, how's your daughter doing? And I think that's really cute because, again, proud dad, ask me about my kid. That's what I want to talk about the most.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy though.
No.
That balance. I try to hide it in the stories. At least the stories views is like 1/10 of like the main views.
Right.
You know, so I try to at least hide in there so that only people that are legitimately interested
Right.
will do it.
Right.
But even then, you know, I try.
Maybe
not
it's one
easy.
of those things you keep behind there's like paywalls, I feel
Yeah.
like, with all these things, so that if you want like to actually see what your personal life is, maybe that's where you keep it.
Yeah, and in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna put a paywall because at least if you're going behind the paywall, then it's like a barrier between like really bad people.
Well, and there's some accountability too, because they've got to put like their card information. They probably have to
Yeah.
put their real name and stuff. Like, it's a little bit more of an accountability thing.
And then I was like, man, I don't want to feel like I'm selling access to my kid.
Right? Oh, that's true. Then you are peddling your kid.
So, you know, hey, subscribe, $5 a month, and you get to see my kid. Like, that's weirder.
I didn't even think about that. Yes.
Like, how do I do this? I don't, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just that dad. Screw it. It is what it is. You know?
I know, especially when you get the cutest pictures of them and you're like, everybody has to see this, you know?
Yeah, like fit check.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really, that's harder than any of these big global problems. What do we do with their kids' pictures?
This is like the hardest thing in life. You know? I really want to post it, but maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe if it's just like a back angle, then you don't see her face, and that's
Right.
okay. You know?
Yeah, because I see a lot of people do that. Like, they'll post their kids, but they'll like blur out the face or like put something over it. But
That's
yeah.
weird too.
It is. Then it's like the only thing you can see is like their body.
Yeah, that's
Which isn't
weirder.
that weird?
I don't know. There's no
There's
rule
no
book for
winning
this.
this.
There's no rule book for
No.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, you have your back normal topics. You have your.
That was a rabbit trail.
Sorry, totally went the wrong direction. This is what young parents do. You have Twitter, you have TikTok, and you have Instagram. Which one do you enjoy the most?
I kind of liked TikTok the best. It was like fun
Yeah.
or whatever. Instagram, like I it's like a little overwhelming having all of these because used to like back before I liked Instagram the best, and then was like TikTok was second. But I think Twitter's kind of fun too. Like you can like actually get a lot of real news from there and stuff. So I would say probably. Well, the TikTok, I'm not a big fan of them now because
After they
keep
banned you.
freaking banning everything. All my videos, like if you, like on my side, it's all like remove, violated, community guidelines, whatever. But I would say probably Twitter's my favorite because it's not like it doesn't get banned, you know. Like I'm sure it gets shadow banned and stuff. I don't know, but I would say I can appreciate that because I can actually post what I want to say, and it's not going to get taken down.
I think all of them are very different.
They're all censored in their own way.
Oh, they're all censored in their own way.
Yeah.
And the audience is different. If you live on Instagram, you're pretty much only on Instagram.
Right.
If you live on TikTok, that's all you can see.
You got to choose one. It's too much to do all.
And if you're a creator, you got to be on all three.
Right.
Because you lose one, then you're kind of screwed.
Right.
You have to diversify.
Right.
But as a consumer, you're usually on one or the other. I think Instagram is interesting because that's where people share like their family pictures. So I'll have like grandmas follow me and they follow like 50 people and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And the rest of their family like, oh, thanks, Nana.
Yeah.
You know, that's awesome. You know?
That's actually really a good compliment.
That's the cutest thing ever. They follow 50 people and I'm one of them. And all 49 of them, they know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I wonder what Matt's
And then
doing.
there's him.
Yeah. I'm like, that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's different because that's where you follow your hobbies. You get shown what you follow a lot.
Right.
Not only, but a lot.
Yeah.
TikTok, you have no idea what they're going to show you.
No.
You are totally leaving up to the algorithm to decide what you
TikTok's
want.
a wild place. You can get all sorts of craziness on the TikTok.
And I think TikTok is where I think TikTok information travels the fastest actually.
Yeah.
Because
it's definitely
more
a
people on
faster
there.
way to like grow engagement quick.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to start out, I would say start on TikTok. It's easy to use, you know. Like Twitter is hard to, I would say that would be a hard one because if you don't really have a following, then it's like you can post away, but
It does nothing.
doing anything.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
It'll never go anywhere.
No. You'll be like, you'll post a million things and have like 2 likes,
Yeah.
if a like at all.
Well, and you can't even know who liked you anymore.
Well, oh, really?
Well, they took away
that's
the
so
likes.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought that meant they were taking away the like count.
I think
Is it the like count or
I
you
think
can see?
before, if you clicked someone's like, then you can see who else liked it.
Oh, okay.
They don't want you to know who liked your post
Oh, that's weird.
because,
Why?
well, I don't know. I
You're
have
like,
my
why are
theories.
you asking me?
I have my theories. One is that the conservatives say that they were getting fired because they were liking certain posts.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah. Who's combing through likes?
No one's combing their likes.
No.
Full of shit. Let it go. I think people were boosting their likes. And there's a lot of botted likes
Okay.
to bot engagement. And they don't want it to be exposed. And maybe Twitter as a platform don't want you to realize how many bots are really out there.
That makes more sense.
And how many people are actually gaming the system.
Right.
And there's like 20 accounts that run all of Twitter. And actually 99.9% of people on Twitter actually don't matter. They don't want you to know that.
No.
So let's just hide the likes.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
They didn't want to deal with it.
No.
They were like, okay, this is too much. This is too much. We're just
Yeah.
not dealing with it.
That's my theory on why they removed it, because I think they're trying to hide the bots.
Yeah.
But-
that actually makes sense. Like, how does that even work? Do you like pay for that? Like, how do you even get bots?
Oh yeah, you can pay for anything these days.
Oh, wow.
So for example, I spoke to people that are in the like music video industry. Almost every single music video in America that's big, they
Yeah.
buy their first million views.
Right.
So you buy their views because the reality is people don't want to click on a video that has little views.
That's true.
So you buy a million views and oh, that must be a good music video. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
That's kind of with everything.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be a conservative influencer and you're in a certain club, then all the people that have the larger followings, they will all like quote share and retweet all your stuff because that's their way of driving you traffic. That's
Right.
their way of making you grow because you're on their team now. If they watch you but they don't agree with you, like they don't want to mess up their feed with you. You know, but they will if they can say, "Oh, look at what she's saying.
Yeah.
She said the word." You know.
Again, all publicity is good publicity in that case.
Yeah, but that's basically how it works. You
Yeah.
know,
That
is
makes sense.
That just do that, and you go to some of these accounts and like I'll see people and they follow like 10,000 people. You don't follow 10,000 people. Like, how do you follow 10,000 people?
Yeah. Well, you can usually like tell when it's, at least on Instagram, is when they have they'll always have like 10,000 followers. And And then their pictures have like 3 likes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah, something's going on here.
what's going on?
Yeah, yeah. 10 million followers and 3 likes.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah. There's a couple, a lot of podcasters that run that scam. I've been finding out that they'll buy and boost all their numbers. And I think Apple Podcast is the easiest place you can buy clicks and
Okay.
views. So they'll say like, oh, we're top 10 on Apple Podcast.
Yeah.
We have a big podcast, but they're all from like the corner of India.
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah, like really
I
big
tell you
Indian
what, you
following.
gotta hand it to Indians. They are industrious. They will make that money.
They figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, they'll sit there with 1,000 phones and they're all clicking in.
Oh, it's so funny. Like, in these little like vacation towns, it's always cracked me up with Indians. You'll see those little like, I don't know what they are. They're these shops that sell like trinkets to tourists and stuff. And this one window, they had like Trump merch on one side and they had a Hillary merch on the other side. I was like, wow, these people,
They don't care.
no, they're really just out for the money. And you got to hand it to them. It's really funny, but
I
they're
wonder.
doing us all a favor.
I wonder if you're more likely to buy merch you agree with, or do you hate buy merch?
Right. You might hate buy merch.
Hate buy is that a thing? Hate buying merch?
I'm sure liberals do it because they love to burn our shit. You know,
Hmm.
I bet they buy like Trump stuff so they can burn it.
Do you have merch?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Not yet.
No.
You gotta have merch.
I know.
We like don't really have merch. I try.
How does that work? Do you like? I guess you have to like contract out with somebody who makes stuff, or
Yeah, there are multiple ways to do it. You can either design and print your own stuff, which is the most lucrative, except it's the most capital heavy.
right?
And you have to really believe that your merch is going to sell.
yeah.
Or there are companies that will just print and do everything for you. There are a lot of companies. So basically, you sign a deal with them. They take usually 50% of whatever the profit is,
Right.
and they will create a landing page for you. They will print your merch. They will help you design. And then all you got to do is, hey, go buy at, I don't even know what our merch link is.
Merch Lab.
Merch Lab
Merch
/
Lab,
Matt
okay.
Kim or whatever it is. Link in the description. And you go click it. And they just fulfill everything for you. So the good is that you don't have to do anything.
Right.
The bad is you're actually not actively involved.
Right.
So you don't know what's going out, which is why I never push it.
Right.
Because the quality could kind of vary. And I think eventually, like, I just got to get into it myself.
right.
Because I don't want to sell something that I myself wouldn't wear.
Right. It's a you know, it reflects on you.
Hmm.
You know, if you're selling like really shitty stuff, like it makes your brand look cheap too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want, if someone spends $20 or $30 or $40 for a t-shirt, which is a lot of money,
I know, right?
and I'm going to make $8 off that t-shirt because after you print it and ship it and whatever else, you $8 a t-shirt. Like, I'm still making money.
Right.
I don't want you to be like, damn, I bought this shirt for $40 from Matt. I didn't even make that much money. I bought this shitty shirt from Matt and it sucks. Like, that's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
You know? But then
Yeah.
if you take control of it yourself, you're going to run your own warehouse. You're going to do your own
Right.
shipping. You're going to print them.
a lot of
You're going to have a closet full of t-shirts that no one's buying.
Right, I know.
You know, like,
that's
oh.
the worst. Like, what if you came up with all this merch and nobody bought it? And then you're
Like,
like,
no.
oh, okay, wow.
Now what do you do all these t-shirts? You know, with my face on it real big.
Donate to Goodwill.
And then you're going to see all these people crossing the border and they got a t-shirt with your face on it.
Oh, right.
And you're
right.
like, Lilly brought them in.
All the Indian bots are going to be wearing your merch now.
You know, Lilly told them to come. It's her fault.
Yeah, very bad branding right there.
You should have a shirt. I already know what it should say. I wonder if you'd sell a lot of them.
I don't know. Would I buy one of those? I don't know. I don't think I've ever bought merch before.
I'm not a big merch person. I like this. I got from Andy Frisella. He gave it to me.
Yeah.
So it's a free t-shirt.
Well, see, it's a cool looking shirt. Like if
Yeah.
I sold something, I would want. The problem with merch, I feel like I never buy it because it's not something you can wear to everything.
Yeah.
Like I would rather sell something that's like just everyday clothes, but it's like if you know, you know,
Yeah.
you know. But
It's easier to sell to guys because guys are more willing to wear like logos and graphic tees, and girls are
it's gotta look
pretty.
good though. Like I feel like it's just so hard to find stuff that's not just glaring and in your face. That's kind of like ghetto, you know?
Maybe that's the new business.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like nonchalant merch.
I know, it doesn't have to be like in your face. Like I would buy something because I always wanted a Trump shirt that was like very subtle.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't think it's a Trump shirt, but it's like when you look up close, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, who was it that showed up here one day? He had a hoodie on, and it was a Trump hoodie, but the logo was just his signature. So I thought that was really cool.
See,
looking
that's
hoodie.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like you have to know what Trump's signature looks
Right.
like to know that's a Trump shirt.
And it's kind of like a wink wink to people who are in your little club.
Yeah, and I thought it was, cool hoodie.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's
Yeah.
a little bit more versus MAGA,
Right.
which great.
It's fun.
It's fun.
But it's not like something you're going to wear everywhere.
Yeah, it's not that I disagree. I just don't want to walk around
We
like a
don't
billboard.
always want to risk our car getting keyed, right?
And where you live, is it a really conservative area?
I would say.
Because you're kind of in a beach area?
Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes from the beach. So it's a pretty conservative. What the thing about North Carolina is it's more conservative towards the coast, at least what I've found. And then towards the mountains, like Asheville and all that, it's really woke.
Yeah, Asheville went.
Asheville's
Weird.
terrible. People love Asheville for some reason.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't like it. It's a shithole.
Asheville's the one with the little creek in the middle.
It's the one with the breweries and the Biltmore.
Yeah.
mansion.
No, I think you're thinking of Greenville, South Carolina. That
Oh,
one with the
Greenville.
river that
Yes.
goes through it. Yeah, that's Greenville.
Oh, I like Greenville.
Greenville's cool. I will say I lived outside of there for a little while, and it is getting kind of woke. There's a lot of like people coming in because it's about an hour. It's like an hour and a half or 2 hours from Asheville, so you're getting that spillover. So that's a problem. Greenville, I'm going to predict it's on its way down.
I mean, you see that with Nashville.
Right.
Nashville, Tennessee is so conservative.
Yeah.
If you leave Nashville, it's so conservative. And then you get to Nashville, and even country music is so liberal.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What happened to country music?
They all sold out. It's like, who was it? Luke Combs or whatever. I think he had a video with like a rebel flag in it and whatever. He did the whole, of course, apologize and take it down and disavow, which is so stupid. It's so lame. But yeah, country music, it's LARPing. It's like liberals pretending to be conservatives because that's their base.
Are you concerned? Are you a country music person? What's your music?
I like alternative. I like pretty much just alternative music, like punk rock and like surf rock and stuff like that.
Surf. What the hell is surf rock?
Surf rock. It's like it's like a mix between indie music and like garage rock. So it's a little bit in between. It's kind of vibey, but it's a little melting
Not doing a
pot.
very good job explaining it.
No, I'm not. I don't know how to explain
I have
music.
no idea what you're talking about.
I'll show you after this.
Okay, well, I'm trying to envision in my mind
Right.
what vibey beach punk rock sounds like. And I'm thinking like Blink 182 meets
Yeah.
Beach Boys.
Yeah.
That's what in my mind. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's right.
What is Blink 182? That's like
I was
that's
thinking
like
Red
kind
Hot
of
Chili
Green Day?
Peppers meets reggae.
kind of a little bit like
Right.
that. I'm trying to think of a good band like Baby Rainbow is kind of cool, but that's more like vibey music. But I would say like, have you ever heard the Strokes before? They're pretty good. I'm not getting anywhere with it.
This is. Please don't unclick. Please don't close out. I swear. This is
Oh my
going
gosh,
somewhere.
what is something more like Surfer Blood? Ever heard them?
Is there a playlist for it?
Yes, I've got a whole playlist.
Is there a punk rock? Oh no, is there a beach punk rock category?
Maybe-
Like a
I don't
beach
think
punk
so. I don't think so. It's
essentials
just
list?
I've come up with that. I will send you my essentials list.
Okay.
You'll know.
And we'll link it on the bottom. If anyone wants to listen to Lily's Essential Mix, we'll leave it there.
Okay.
How about that? Then they can feel like they're beach punk vibing.
Right.
I'm sure there's a Spotify list somewhere.
Well, it's gonna be the lily pad,
Yeah.
which you should do.
It's been gleaned from a lot of people because I've been friends with a lot of people with awesome taste in music, and so I've kind of like, oh, I like that. I like a little bit of this. I like a little bit of this. So it's a good melting pot. I'm kind of proud of my playlist.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm totally gonna check it out. I'm totally curious.
People hate on it though because it's not everybody's style, but As long as it's not Taylor Swift, all music is pretty much good. Like, but
Yeah.
that kind of like music is just it's so embarrassing.
But you're supposed to love Taylor Swift. But you're supposed to.
I know. Oh man, now the Swifties are gonna come after me.
I mean, you're white, you're kind of blonde. Like, how could you not like Taylor Swift?
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It is.
But you're supposed to.
Oh, we're just pissing off everybody right now.
I made a video about Taylor Swift. I put it on TikTok. It was after she won Time Person of the Year.
Oh yeah.
And I said, congratulations, Taylor Swift. And something like this. I made a video. And I mentioned that she looked like the satanic priestess.
Oh, because she does. Like, that is a wild conspiracy, but
They look exactly alike.
Yeah.
And I made that video. I put it on TikTok. And TikTok deleted it.
Did they really?
Yeah.
See, this is exactly what I was talking about a minute ago. Like, you know, I was saying how when like kind of weirdos make these kind of videos, they keep them up because I've seen tons of those type of TikToks. They got lots of views.
Yep.
And they're not taken down. You make one on that.
Yeah.
They take it down.
It did like
That's the thing.
100 or 200,000 views in like the first 2 hours, meaning it was going to explode if it does that, right? You understand how it works. If you hit 100,000 views in the first hour, 2 hours, it's going.
You're golden. Yeah.
It's going to go everywhere. And just boom, gone. I have a lot.
They couldn't because they can sense when it's starting to blow up.
Yeah.
And I've had videos taken down
You
and
know it, right?
I'm like, holy shit, this is gonna blow up, and then no, gets taken down. You know?
It's so frustrating when that happens. I think I did I forget which video it was. I did one video and it had 172,000 views in the first maybe 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And after 90 minutes, that's a lot.
Yeah.
For
it
people
is.
who are on TikTok. Like,
Oh yeah. That's really good.
That's really good. And then after that, over the next week, it did like 5,000 views. It goes, the line
I'd
is
rather
this,
them
and
take
there's a
it
cliff.
down. I'd rather them take it down.
I would rather them take it down.
They're gaslighting you.
Yeah. And I used to, about every fourth video of mine used to get taken down. And then once they put me back from the ban, they stopped taking my videos down. Instead, they just kill the reach.
Right.
And if it does
Which
anything,
is more effective too, because then it's like, oh, don't listen to this guy. Like nobody likes what he has to say.
Yeah.
And then try to get in your head.
And I'm like, oh, maybe that sucked.
Yeah.
You know, and then I'll look on Instagram because I post the same video on Instagram and TikTok. And Instagram, it'll be like 800,000 views. And on TikTok, it's like 3,000. And it's got like 1,000 shares.
Yeah.
It's got 3,000 views, 1,000 shares. And it's after like 2 hours, there's 0 views.
And it's interesting to see like what they take down. Like it's interesting when you see, oh, how close can I fly to the sun with certain topics? Like it's really weird. Like with certain things, you know, they'll let go. And then other things you get too close to whatever you can't talk about and they'll take those down.
I made a video about bird flu like early on before it was like really trendy.
Yeah.
And they took that one down immediately.
Oh yeah.
They didn't like bird flu. Anything with Andrew Tate in it. Because, I mean, I went out there interviewing 4 hours. I want to put the clips on TikTok.
Oh, you went to where does he live? Romania?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those clips, they took down immediately.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the algorithm. If they see his name or they see his face, they just delete it automatically, which is crazy.
Is he banned from like, I've never like followed him. I don't really know.
He's
Is he
banned on
from
TikTok.
everything?
He was the original TikTok ban.
Okay.
He's so banned that he's not even allowed in the algorithm at all.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
YouTube banned him, but they let his interviews and podcasts and clips go because he brings so many views to YouTube.
See, that's a hard spot for them. They're like, he's bringing in so much revenue, but we hate his guts.
So he himself is not on YouTube, but all of his content people repurpose and put on YouTube.
Right.
So him wasn't allowed. I interviewed Dr. Peter McCullough about the vaccines and spike proteins.
Yeah.
That one got deleted from TikTok. You're not allowed to talk about that.
Yeah.
I talked about the COVID death data in Australia.
Oh, don't even talk
Not
about
allowed to do
COVID.
that.
Yeah.
You know? So it's always telling on what they're deleting. And I find TikTok fascinating because people do the live streams on TikTok.
Yeah.
And people have developed their own language
Yeah.
to say the thing without saying the exact words, which means there's literally a list of words that are not allowed because if you say it without saying those words, then it's okay.
You want to know something crazy? I was making a TikTok before all this went down because I was driving down the road and I saw this cop had pulled over, it was a state trooper, had pulled over this black guy. And of course he was out of the car filming, you know, as they are wont to do. And I was like, you're so stupid. So I was going to make a video about like, hey, black people, if you don't want to get like shot for minor traffic offenses, how about you stop raising hell when you get pulled over? Like I shit my pants whenever somebody like I get pulled over. I'm so worried. I'm like, oh my God, even though I'm not even doing anything. Yeah. You know, that's how normal people react. We're respectful. Put your hand on the wheel, whatever. You know, you're not, because these guys, they don't know. You could have a gun. Anybody could have a gun. So obviously they're trigger happy. But I never posted this. I saved it to my drafts. I went back in my drafts because I was going to post this. The sound had been deleted from the drafts off of that video.
That's crazy.
And I never even put, that was just in the drafts.
That's because they're scrubbing everything.
Isn't that insane?
They're scrubbing it. They know what you're going to say, and they're listening to everything.
Yep.
But everyone does. Because people say TikTok is so evil because they're spying on you. I'm like,
so is everyone.
Literally everyone is spying on you.
If you have a phone, if you have anything connected to like Wi-Fi or whatever, I mean, you're being spied on, obviously.
And the government is the worst at spying on you. So if you're going to cancel anybody, like maybe we should start there.
Right. Exactly.
If you don't want to know that. No, TikTok's bad.
What's the deal with TikTok anyway? Weren't they supposed to ban it? Or did they sell it? Or
I think they're supposed to be banned. They haven't sold it yet. There's a lot of people interested because 5 billion users or daily users. Like that's the one you want.
Right. I would feel like it's the best one to have.
I think technology wise it's the best.
Yeah.
Like it's the easiest to use. They give you the most tools.
Yeah.
You have ultimate discoverability. So you can go super viral on it.
And like everybody is on there, like all ages.
Yeah.
You know, like Twitter, it's kind of niche who's actually on Twitter and even more who's actually engaged with Twitter. And then Instagram, that's mostly like girls or whatever. But then TikTok, everybody's on there. Yeah. Like old people, kids, freaking, you know, good old boys hunting, preppy guys. Like there's no target audience. Everybody's on TikTok.
Yeah. And the people on Twitter will say, oh, TikTok sucks and Instagram sucks. Well, it's because you can't figure out how to make it on TikTok and Instagram.
Right.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Just because you have following on Twitter doesn't mean it translates. Each app is different. But people love to hate on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. They thought they'd show up over there. Hey, I'm an anonymous account on Twitter. I have a lot of people that care about me. Well, it's a bunch of bots.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people care about me. I'm going to go to Instagram and they're like, oh, they suck. They just censor me. I'm like, no, you suck. Like, no, it's just not good.
Nobody takes accountability for everything. And that's why they have to like discourage. If somebody goes viral, it's like, oh, it's not because you did something right. It's because of whatever. And then like you're saying, you know, oh, it's just the app sucks. No, you suck.
No, it's a pretty good app.
Yeah.
A lot of people are on there.
Yeah.
They really enjoy it. It's not easy because people think that going viral is luck. And yes, it is. But it also means you resonate with a certain amount of people at the right moment. And maybe that's the luck.
Yeah.
But they still had to resonate with you.
Right.
You know?
Well, I see it as like, everybody wants to complain because certain guys get all the girls, you know, but it's like you either have it or you don't. Like there's no learning it or whatever. And same thing for like social media and any kind of being in the public eye. Like you either have it or you don't. You know, some like politicians. Trump is way more charming than DeSantis. Like, let's be real. Yeah. DeSantis ran, it was just like, ugh. It's kind of embarrassing.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And it's not like any hate towards him. Like, I don't really know about the guy, but it's just Trump has it and you don't. You know, you can have better points, but you're not beating Trump, you know? And it's the same with like social media and being in the public eye. Like, don't even try. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Like, there's been way too much propaganda. Like, oh, you could put your heart to anything and you will succeed. No, you won't. You either have it or you don't. And that's just how it is.
How much do you work on what you're doing and what is your prep like? Is it just...
I don't prep. I'll get pissed off. I'll make a video and I post. I don't like to listen back. Yeah. That's why I sound so retarded in half my videos because I don't like edit them or like pre-watch them. I just post them. You know, so maybe that's what people like because there's a lot of work that goes into that, but maybe I'm just lazy. I'm like, I'd rather just talk to my people and put it out there. And if they don't like it, that sucks. But if they do, great. So I just kind of like wing it.
And you're growing, and your following is growing online fast. People have been really accepting of you. I mean, there's the haters, there's everyone else, but there's a community of people growing around you.
Yeah.
What do you think that, number one, what's the demographic of the people around you?
I
What
would
do you
say
feel?
I judge the demographics based on like who DMs me. So it's usually
Guys.
it's a lot. It's a lot of them, but it's a very specific. It's the frat boy kind of people. They're not like perfect. They're not Puritans. They're not whatever. They're not really subscribed to anything. They're not really super, aware to whatever. But they know it's something nefarious is going on. They don't like how it is. They're just fun American boys. And then I have like girls who are kind of alternative-y, like me, which there's very few of them. So whenever I do have a girl reach out, I'm like, oh, this is such a win. I always follow them back. And then it's like, I guess boomers, like people that grew up in the 80s. So they miss, because I kind of like talk like how they used to talk and it was not a big deal. So yeah,
Wait. So if you grew up in the 80s, you're a boomer now?
Well, I don't know. What is a boomer? Again, I said I'm retarded. I never said I was smart. What is a boomer? Baby boomer?
They're the kids from the after the World War II.
Oh.
Are they?
Yeah, the kids that were produced from the men returning from World War II.
So what is that? Millennials? Are they 80s?
The boomers would have been 80s. I totally gonna get trolled in the comments.
No, they would have
Like
been
80s?
born in the 50s and 60s.
No, not
You
raised
might
in
want
the
to
80s.
edit this out.
Raised in the 70s and 80s.
No?
Like high school age in the 70s and 80s.
I don't know.
College.
Baby boomers.
Boomers. Baby. Don't know.
Baby boomers. Isn't that like...
Old people.
Yeah. Old people.
We love the old people.
Yeah. If we don't... Yeah. It's just people from that common sense era. So whatever they're called. I'm sure they will enlighten us in the comments.
Lily's labeling people again.
Yeah.
Cancel her.
Yeah. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so boomers 1 were born between 46 and 54, and boomers 2 is born between 55 and 64.
I did not know there's 2 categories of boomers.
Yeah, so I guess
Yeah.
basically between 1946 and 64.
That you were born?
Yeah.
1946.
I'm not that interested.
So then what is the category? We still don't have an answer.
So their age
Millennials.
Millennials?
Wait, is that
60 to
Gen Z,
78.
Gen X?
Gen X?
Gen
Oh.
X is 65 to 1980.
19.
So like 50 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
44 to
Okay,
Gen
Gen
X.
X. Dang.
Gen X.
For some reason, I always thought Gen X was like for young people.
No, I thought it was Gen Z.
Gen Z. Okay.
We are not smart people.
No, clearly.
Not smart people.
I expected more of you. You are Asian after all. What are you doing?
Totally breaking all the stereotypes.
That's funny.
Well, Lily, really appreciate you being on the show. I think your future is so bright. I think you're amazing. I really do. And I remember I saw that one video. I was like, I need to speak to her. I want to get a hold of her. And I mean, it's so cool that you came out. I really do appreciate it.
I love what you have to do. I feel like we're kind of kindred spirits
Yeah.
right here. We're kind of, it's nice to find somebody else who's
Yeah.
not really clinging on to one group or other. So, yeah, it's good to find a fellow person in the fight who doesn't really know what they're doing.
And I think this group and this movement of misfits is growing every day
Yeah.
because people are realizing the left, full of shit, the right, full of shit. We just want what's better for the country. And
Right.
really, we just want what's better for our families. And that's it.
Yeah.
And if that means like we have to piss off people here, we have to piss off people here, it is what it is. Get
Yeah.
over yourself. We don't really care.
Yeah.
We just want what's best.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Hey, everyone. See you next week. Awesome.